And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Darian Talks UTSA. Um, there's a ton to talk about today. I am really excited to get to. I haven't done a live one in a few weeks. Last week was pre-recorded, and yeah, this week I felt like it needed to be live. I thought about doing this one pre-recorded as well, or yeah, pre-recorded as well. But there's a lot of discourse on Twitter that I wanted to be here to address, and I wanted to talk through some of the things because I just think that UTSA is in a very interesting position in college athletics right now, and I want to make sure I shed some light to some of those things and give you guys my perspective. I think one of the big things that I'll be talking about today is going to be, sort of what my visit was about in San Antonio, and I want to give you guys some insights and some details on some of the conversations I had while I was there. I talked to various people while I was there, and it was a very interesting time, right? I think one of the biggest things that I heard while I was there was, you know, some of the things that we as a community have been talking about on Twitter and things like that. Like, I think one of the key things there is people are listening, people are seeing, a lot of what is being said, so on and so forth. So I want to give you guys some insights on some of those things, but also some of the problems that UTSA is up against. And one of the things that I sort of point back to is like, and I'm going to get a little bit deeper into this later, but like, people look at some of my posts sometimes and just think that I'm just posting things just to put things out there. And sometimes I am just putting out my opinion, but like, guys, I talk to a lot of people around the program all the time, every week, and nothing that I put out um, doesn't have some substance to it. Yes, a lot of it's opinion, and I'm going to form my opinion based on what I think or whatever. But nothing that I put out is just like I'm pulling something out of the air and like putting it here. There's certainly substance to that, and there's certainly um I'm hearing things. Is what I'll say. But anyway, I will encourage you guys to get in the chat. We are light on comments today. I know I gave you guys a late notice that I'll be here, so I appreciate the guys and the ladies who are here right now. But I would encourage you guys to get your questions and comments in the chat. We have a few already, but I'll start answering them once we get a few more comments in the chat. It takes a little bit of time for it to warm up and folks to get some of those notifications that we are live. But I will ask you guys to let people know that we're live. We're finna get ready to go. So like I said, get your comments in, get your questions in. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things going on. So the first thing I want to address, though, I think I'll start here, and then as you guys get some comments into the chat, I'll start addressing your comments and questions and things like that. But the first thing I want to talk about is my article that I wrote on that came out Monday. I'm actually going to pull my article up. Not going to share screen for those of you who haven't seen it yet. I would advise you to follow me on Twitter, and that's Darian underscore UTSA. And if you go to my page, scroll over to the articles tab, and you will see my latest article that came out on Monday. That talks about, the title of the article is UTSA's success is outpacing its resources, and can AD Campos keep up? And that article ruffled some feathers. And I get it. I get why it did, because ultimately, I'll speak on this. Ultimately, I think our athletic director she's come in and done a good job at a few things that I think is super commendable, and it puts UTSA in the position that we're in today. Number one, she has hired a great coaching. Her coaching hires have been exemplary. Obviously, oh gosh, what's going on? Jeff Traylor was obviously a transformational hire. He, to me, has transformed our athletic program and has brought so much notoriety to the school, and has uplifted us, and has uplifted every single sport to me. and the person he is, the character that he has, and the culture that he's built at UTSA. But when you also go into, Coach Karen and like some of the other people across across UTSA athletics, we have really good head coaches everywhere. So she does an excellent job at that. And I want to be very clear about um, you know, my you know, my thoughts on the good job she's done in that regard. Also, with some of the facility stuff, like she's got the race facilities done. There's going to be like a race 2.0, whatever, that's happening right now. I think from a facility standpoint, she's done a really good job. That race facility is excellent. And I think it's very attractive and people want to do some of those things. So I think from that perspective, she's done quite a good job at sort of creating those things for us. Let me put a banner up here so people can know what we're talking about. I'm blind, guys. Sorry. All right, yeah. AD Campos evaluation. So anyway, back to what I was saying, but she's done really good things, like from a coaching hire standpoint, and then from a facilities position standpoint, she's done a really good job, and she deserves credit for that. But when you start to ask the question and ponder, what do people need? What does UTSA need? Where is UTSA going in the next couple of years? When you start to ask those questions, then you have to start looking at different aspects of what the athletic director is bringing to the table. And this is not me saying that she can't do this. Maybe these are things she can do, and we don't go look elsewhere. Like some people took this as me saying, hey, we need to like push her out the door and go get someone else. I'm not necessarily saying that. All I'm saying is right now, what UTSA's need is fundraising, money. Why? Because of NIL. How are you going to play? How are you going to pay talented people, or how are you going to keep and go out and seek and get talented people into your stable? Right now, in this year of college athletics, in this environment of college athletics, you have to do that with money. And if you can't fundraise, and if you're not making great relationships, and you having donors pull money because they don't feel connected to you, then I think there should be questions that are asked, because these are the things that are needed right now to uplift UTSA and put UTSA into a position to where we can be a powerhouse. And when you look at the trajectory of where UTSA has been, over these last, decade and a half, we have rapidly, we've rapidly rose. And I understand that that's not going to happen, consistently. This type of growth, nothing grows that much this fast, like over a huge amount of time. So I understand growth is going to slow some. And my question is, are we at this spot to where we are about as high as we're going to get? Like, have we reached our ceiling? And I don't know if we have. And whenever I hear things around the program and I talk to people around the program, one of the consistent things that I hear is we need more money and we need better fundraising. And whether that's coming from Campos, that she maybe need to change the approach or bring someone in that's a specialist at some of this, to help out. Obviously, she's pulling some strings because we brought on Playfly to help with some of these things. But what I'm just highlighting is, hey, people around the program, the sentiment is, hey, we need more money. We need more resources to be able to do some of these things. Like I've said before, Coach Traylor has yet to get his cover practice pavilion. And trust me, folks, I know he's still not happy about not having that. So anyway, I put some of these things out there and I say, like, look, like, it should be okay to ask the question. Like, one of the things that I figured out about like UTSA in general and some of our supporters that are on Twitter in our community, and I love it because I think all discourse is good discourse as long as people are not trying to be like malicious in their comments and things like that. But things can get super divisive. And what I'll say about that is, like, I think everybody should voice their opinion. You don't have to be on the side that I am, but I'm going to ask the question that needs to be asked, even if it's hard. So my take on a lot of that is that, like, if you don't agree, cool, tell me why and make it constructive, because I can tell you right now, one of the things that was the most prominent in all the discussions I had, and this came from, and this part I feel like I'm okay with sharing, but this came from the head coach to the GM to the Playfly GM to everybody that I talked to. What they said was, we see what's happening on Twitter. We see some of the things that I'm questioning, or some of the threads that I've brought up. They see these things and they're all aware of these things. So what I try to tell people and what I try to put on Twitter is like, yo, let's have a productive discussion about some of these things, because they are watching us. They're watching, they're learning, and they are trying to implement. So to me, that'll be probably the only like specific thing that I share. I'll share from what I got from everybody is they see everything that we all do on Twitter. They are very aware of it. So, like, just keep that in mind whenever I have an article or I ask a question and things like that. Why am I asking it? What am I trying to lead it to? And ultimately, my goal, even if I'm going to be in a position where I'm calling UTSA out or someone from UTSA out about something, ultimately I want something to be fixed to better the program, not to bring the program down. So when people are going on Twitter and they want to create they have divisive comments, things like that, just understand people are seeing all of that. And to me, I think they listen to everyone because we're the supporters of the program and they want to appease us. But it has to be constructive in a way. Okay. I wanted to start out with that one because, like, people, like I said, that article drew some divisiveness and some people didn't like it, and I'm cool with that. Like, it's not that I don't care. It's just, to me, I'm going to ask tough questions, and sometimes people get uncomfortable with those. And I'm cool. I'm completely fine with that. But she needs to be held accountable for some of the shortcomings, because she's gotten a lot of pats on the back for the great things she did. And right now we need money. We need donors. And someone said, and I'll get to questions right after this, but someone said to me, there was one of the comments, if you guys want to take some time and go look at my article, one of the comments said, hey, you can't just flip a light switch. And I hope these people see this. And I didn't want to respond in the Twitter thread, because I was like, bro, like, I would love to bring them on and have a conversation about this. But they say, hey, you just can't flip a light switch and like get people to donate or get a big donor. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Not in a way, not literally flip a light switch, but a change in strategy, approach, or a different person that's going to pull emotion out of someone who may work at a big company or someone who's the ambassador for a big company. And that emotion that you pull out of them, they may start to now feel connected with UTSA, and they may say, you know what, I'm going to convince my company to give UTSA $1 million in the upcoming season because I believe in them. I believe in their vision. And I believe that, this is a good marketing opportunity for us. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There are some people who talk about this stuff that don't really understand the inner workings of what is needed, what's necessary, and like how you bridge some of these gaps. I'm not saying I'm an expert on it, but I understand a football program. I understand what's necessary to like help push it forward, just because there's plenty of examples out there. Just study. And yeah, anyway, I wanted to shout that out because some of the comments I got were a little ridiculous. But anyway, let's start with some of you guys' comments here, and then we can roll through because I have other topics that I would love to get to. But obviously my show is about you guys, so let's see what we got here. All right, Max says, yo, what's up, Darian? What's going on, Max? He says, any players on both offense or defense that really stood out to you during the visit at the scrimmage? So I want to clarify that it was not a scrimmage. I did not know that until I got there. I was upset, low-key, but it was not a scrimmage. They basically just did a practice. I don't even think they had pads on. I think they had eggs on, which they're not necessarily like we call them eggs. I don't know what they would call them now, but like they're not really shoulder pads. They're like these like padded sort of things, but they're not like real shoulder pads that they go and play game with. But anyway, they had those on, and so we didn't get to see. I didn't get to see like the pads popping and people like making a lot of contact. I can't give you any specific players because I'm not supposed to report on it. But what I will say is, I thought who you would think the first and second quarterback are. I thought they both look really good. I can say McCown has put on some weights. I will say that that's not reporting on the practice, just observing. I actually got to meet him. I shook his hand after practice. I stayed after the practice for a while to talk to some of the coaches and to some of the people around the program. And as I was walking to my car, he was walking to his car, and he came over. He was a really nice kid, said hello. I wished him the best for the season, wished him health and things like that. Dude, he's a lot bigger than he was a couple years ago. He has been in that weight room. I can tell you that right now, fellas and ladies. He's what I saw, I'll just say I'm very optimistic. And to be fair, and I'm just want to be transparent, I was not his biggest fan coming into the season, and until like he started to prove me wrong a lot to end the season. I am very, very optimistic. I'll say that for this season. So I think we are in good hands. I think I'll just say this. I liked what I saw from the offense. Max says, also, what are your opinions on the most recent transfers we landed? The USC running back, the Oklahoma State corner, to name some of the bigger commitments, and does it ease your feelings on the whole tampering issue? Yeah, so the tampering issue to me is not that much of an issue. It's a resource issue. We don't have the resources. So I did get a little bit more insight on what the money is like. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. I was able to get some things confirmed that I can't necessarily share. But I will say this. We cannot compete with these other teams, even within our conference, when it comes to the type of money we can offer and they can offer. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if you don't take nothing from my show today, I'm going to tell you right now, be grateful for the guys that we have on this team that are super talented. They are missing out on a lot of money, life-changing money, to stay and play at UTSA. That is a fact. What will never come, I don't know how much I can and can't share. If you guys ask me some questions, I might be able to give y'all as much hints as I can say. Or some hints that'll let you guys draw some conclusions yourself. I'm just telling y'all this to make y'all just so y'all can think about what you contribute and how we can get other people on board to contribute. Some of our best, like for example, I put out a tweet. This is how I'll do this. I put out a tweet and I said, some of our most skilled players turned down serious money. There are players who turned down who are worth $400,000 and $500,000 in the portal. And I can tell you that the night the portal was closing, we almost lost a couple of those guys. Yeah. I can't share names. But we almost lost a couple of those guys. Some of our top skilled players right now, some of the guys that you think that didn't even have full seasons and things like that, they are worth a lot of money. We have a guy on our team that turned down $1 million opportunity. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I tell y'all this, I'm not joking. Be grateful for what we have. Be grateful for Coach Traylor and the staff and how those guys recruit. because we could have been in some big trouble if some of the guys were as money hungry as what we've been seeing in the portal a little bit. We are very lucky. So I don't worry about tampering. Just look like when I start to realize when I was at UTSA sort of talking to folks about like what it's like now, it sort of like to me, it sort of changed my perspective on how I look at this. You can't look at these players and get mad at these players for some of the offers they're getting. You just can't be. You can't be mad at them because they're getting offered a lot of good money. So that's one thing. But it also makes me think about like, well, if some of our players are getting offered 400,000 or 500,000, and then even some of them, I mean, a very small amount, but at least a person getting $1 million offer. How are we keeping people? That's the first thing. What's attractive about UTSA? Because I can tell you right now, we ain't. I don't think anybody on our team is making more than $8,000 a month. That's $96,000 over. Basically $100,000 a year. I don't think we have a player making that. But people in our conference are offering our players right after games $400,000 and $500,000. Yeah. Crazy work, y'all. Crazy work. So whenever I talk about money and I talk about like, yeah, we got to do a better job at getting more money into the program, bro. I'm not just saying things to say things. And to be fair, I've heard a lot of these rumors before. Like I hear a lot of things all the time. People share a lot of things with me. But there's a reason I have more confidence about some of this stuff now to talk about it openly. So like I said, when these people and these coaches and all these people are trying to fundraise things like that, like think about it because we need to be able to compete or we're going to be in trouble at some point. So anyway, I know I didn't answer your question directly, but my feeling on tampering, it's not tampering. Listen, everybody tampers in this day and age. I don't care about that. It's all about who got what resources. That's what matters. Who has what resources and how much they're willing to give the next player. There you go. That's what it's about. But to speak on the USC running back, I haven't seen tape on him yet. So I haven't seen tape on him yet. So I don't know too much to make of it other than like he was a 4-star recruit in 2023. So I'm sure there's some talent there. Oklahoma State cornerback, I did get to see some tape on him. He's really good. I can tell you that the folks at UTSA really like him and they are really excited. I actually had sort of talked. He came up over the weekend about the opportunity to bring him into UTSA. So I was even that situation. We had him in the bag, but a team came at the very last minute and offered him a bag of money, at least from what I think. So, like, guys, like, listen to me when I say, like, cut some of our people some slack and know that, like, we are very under-resourced. Very under-resourced. I'll move on to the next question. ATX says, what are our immediate needs that need to be addressed through the transfer portal? I think the secondary cornerback in particular is a big one, but I think we just addressed that with the cornerback from the CB from Oklahoma State. Obviously, the front seven and offensive line are always areas that I think we need to look at. I feel pretty good about receiver position. I feel pretty good about the running back position as well. I think defensively, I want to shear up and tighten up some things there because we just got to see what we have and see if we have some guys because we lost big name players in those areas. And I'd hope that we're in a position to to have some early success in those positions. Shout out to Anthony. Burst up to you too, my friend. Choose Your Name says, how was your time coming back to SA? I loved it. It was great. David Glasgow took me to a terrible barbecue spot called Smoky Mo's. I don't know if it's because I've been in Austin so long and there's like good barbecue, bro. Smoky Mo's is terrible. I told him about this yesterday. Smoky Mo's is terrible. Shout out. Sorry if you guys like Smoky Mo's. That's not great barbecue. I had a barbecue sandwich with brisket. It was not good, but I enjoyed it. I mean, they really made me feel like I'll give the football program this, man. They made me feel like I was at home. They were super lovely. Shout out to Kyle, who's the communications director there. Like I interned under Kyle and Brian Hernandez back in 2013, 2014 for a summer. He made me feel at home. Shout out to Coach Traylor. We had a really good conversation. I really enjoyed. We talked for probably 7 minutes, I'd say. And after that 7 minutes, I looked at their GM, Mike Giglio, and I said, I love that guy. Quote, like straight up. Passionate. Definitely shared a lot that I didn't expect. He was very open and candid. And I think Mike Giglio looked at me afterwards and said, yep, that's him all the time. He's going to wear his feelings on his shoulders and he's going to tell you like it is. And I really like that dude, man. Coach Traylor, bro, I'm a fan no matter what happens. Like that dude is legit and I hope he stays with us for forever. He has my ultimate respect, but great conversation with him. Had some great conversations with everybody. Like I talked to a lot of people there. Like the Playfly guys were really nice. Jordan Pelt, like they were really cool people. I got to talk to the corners coach a little bit, Nicholas Graham, really great dude. I really enjoyed talking to him, talked to him for a while. I mean, it was just great. It was all love, bro. It was all love. And I hadn't been on campus in a while. I've come to San Antonio, obviously. I was down there for a couple of games last year, but I haven't been on campus in like a couple of years. So just talking to those guys, like I said, they made me feel like it was at home and they didn't even have to do much. Right. It's not like they like did anything for me, but them acknowledging my work and acknowledging like just us as a community. Y'all don't know how much how big of a deal that is because we get on this thing and we do this stuff on Wednesdays and we talk on the on Twitter all the time, and seeing the decision makers have comments and thoughts about some of the things that we're talking about. That's what we want. So my time in San Antonio was amazing. Zah Frazier to the Bears. Shout out to Zah, man, or Zay. Sorry, shout out to Zay Frazier. Big time player. He's gonna do good things in the NFL. He has a type of game that translates well to the NFL. I mean, he's 6'3", 100-some pounds, 4'3" guy. Like, yeah, I mean, he'll have a long career. He'll make it to a second contract and he'll be a player for the Bears. I'm really stoked and happy for him. Anthony says, thoughts on Zay getting drafted to Chicago? Does he make? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he'll make the roster. Not worried about that at all. Not worried about that one bit. Not even going to spend much time on that because, yeah, he'll make it 1,000%. Steven says, shout out to UTSA for having more draft picks than Baylor and U of H. Shout out to us. Yeah, bro. Yeah, people make it. People make it from UTSA, baby. Especially corners. Max says, which UTSA undrafted free agent do you think has the best chance to make the 53-man roster? Great question. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. I think I already have an answer for you, but I want to make sure I see all the names first before I give you an answer. I wish there was somebody who can like give me the names really quick. If I had to pick, so I'll give you guys the guy. There's two guys. I think Big Joe Evans and Brandon Brown. They'll make I think they both will make the 53-man roster. 100%. Both of them. I think they'll both do fine. Um, I'll give you a sleeper though. I'll give you a sleeper that one that's not so obvious. Um, I'd say look out for. Uh, I'd say look out for Chris Carpenter. Return man, he has a lot of speed. Just look out for that. Coming in as a return guy, you never know. Like, I think look out for him. Anthony says agreed on the football cover top needs to happen sooner than later. Texas Heat is no joke. Yeah, like I don't think it's gonna happen. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's gonna happen, bro. Not anytime soon. But I hope it does. RIP Brandon High Jr. That's what happens though. Wait, what do you mean RIP? Did he? No. This is what happened. Are you saying this because he? When people put RIP, I don't know if they're trolling or if something actually happened. So I gotta go check stuff to make sure that nothing happened. Because you never know nowadays. Okay, I'm assuming you're trolling and that he is not left the earth. Yeah, I mean we got a new that's the thing. If you lose a back, you're gonna get another one. Like our coaches understand the atmosphere that we're in at this point, and I don't think they take some of these losses as big as maybe we do because they know what time it is. They know what time it is. Let's see. Anthony says, with that being said, I believe we can agree our good luck to keep these players will only last so long. So how do we close this financial gap we have versus our other competitors? Here's the thing. I don't know how we close the financial gap. Like people always say this and they act like, and I'm not accusing you of doing this, but I'm just talking in general. It's one of the things that I got from my article that I was like really confused about because people talks about like, oh, like, so what are you going to do? Are you going to donate more? Or are you going to do this? Or are you going to do that? Like, stop complaining about this or stop complaining about that. Or like, this person has done a tremendous job. Like, my thing is like a couple things, two things can be right. Number one, like I said before, and I know this is kind of geared toward Campos since we're talking about the financial gap, but like Campos, she has done a good job in certain areas, but a not so good job in other areas. And the financial gap that we have now, I understand we're fighting uphill. It's an uphill battle. Like I am not being unfair. It's just right now what's super important to the program and its growth in its exact moment. I don't know how we close the financial gap because we won't in reality. Because some of these teams, like you think about the FedEx man in Memphis, trust me, that came up over the weekend. And how Memphis is able to offer a lot of money to even our players. So, yeah, like I don't know exactly how we close the financial gap, but what I will say is we need someone who is very, very good at raising money. And their MO and what they are about is raising money. That could be Campos in some way, shape, or form. If she adjusts her approach, I don't know if that approach has been adjusted yet. Maybe it has. I don't know. I'm not around that situation, but yeah, somebody has to do something because we are a lot. I'll say what has been surprising to me is we are a lot further away from our competitors than I thought. Like it's worrisome, guys. It's worrisome. So if you can contribute every penny counts. But yeah. Cody, let's see, Cody Chack, or is it Cody Chack or Cody Shack? One of the two. He says, love the signings of former 4 stars recently. Just makes it a year by year free agency. Yeah. Each year is a different team, so it's no longer building teams like olden times. Nope, not at all. Not at all. It's a different type of ball game. one of the things that I floated out there, and I think it's huge, is a big deal, is like I look at the signing that we just got for USC, right? What's his name? Amarian Peterson. I done forgot his name already. Sorry, bro. Darn it. Where's his name? I want to get his. I don't want to like. I think it's kind of disrespectful to mispronounce somebody's name, so that I don't. I don't want to do that. Yeah, no, I was right. Amarian Peterson. Yeah. So the one thing I like about the signing is like, look at it like this: you go into a roster for one of the power four schools, and you say, hey, this guy on the depth chart, he hadn't really played. Is he happy over there? And that guy might be a 4 or 5-star guy from a couple years ago or a year ago, right? That don't make them not that type of prospect anymore just because they went to a place and didn't start because that team already had good players in that position, right? You just bring them over to UTSA. And to me, one of the things that you can tell them while you're recruiting them is like, hey, yo, I know you want to make a lot of money and you want to get a bag in NIL. Come to UTSA for a year, maybe 2, depending on the offers you get. Come to UTSA for a little bit. And then we can get you a $500,000 offer or $1 million offer or something like this somewhere else at a big school, because you came here and balled out. It's not the sexiest way to recruit. But if we're talking about reality, if we want to bring in those type of players, it's good to show that we have had guys who have come here and left and got paid at a bigger, at a P4 school. So it is what it is. I'm all for UTSA I'm all for the next season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no longer looking at guys that's going to develop throughout our program because that's just not our reality. For me, how good can the roster be next season? That's what matters. And that means if we got to tell guys from a P4 school that, yo, this is just we're going to be a program that's going to serve as a springboard for you to go get money elsewhere after this, after you come here and ball, I'm cool with it because we're going to get him out of there. We're going to get another one that's going to come do the same thing. It makes Coach Traylor and those coaching jobs a little difficult, but guess what? This is what college football is right now until some sort of regulation comes down that irons out some of this. So let's embrace it. Anthony says, also agree on the fact that we must be grateful for what we still have regarding what we can truly offer. Yeah, we're not offering much, y'all. I don't want to get too much in detail on what our UTSA players are making based on the things I've heard, but guys, Jesus Christ, it's not good. Like it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. And that's one of the things that it's just I don't want to go too much in it, but I was shocked at what our team is making. And I think there's a path for it to get better, but like I will just say this, especially on Twitter and stuff like this, we need more people on the same page than like getting pissed, calling people out and saying, how much money have you done? Somebody said to me, how much money have you donated? I'm like, yeah, that's you doing that type of thing is hurting the whole system. That's just not what you should do. People are already worried about donating, like, oh, I'm only donating $10 a month. That's not enough. So they just don't donate at all. When people like that person who came under my Twitter, and y'all can go look for yourself, I have no problem like telling y'all exactly where it is, but there's a person under the article that I wrote. And if you go into the replies, that person is questioning how much you have done. We're donated because their partner has donated so much to the school. And it's like that attitude right there is what keeps people on the sidelines because they feel like their money, because it may be, no matter how big or small it is, but they consider their small money not enough to actually donate, so they don't donate at all. And it's because of people like that. It's because of people who do that type of thing. Yeah, it's unacceptable. And I appreciate all of the people who want to help and do all that stuff, but come on, bro. Max says, do you think being a young university and having a young alumni base has caused sort of an issue with contributing? I feel like the more we build our name, the more people we give. Yeah, 100%. The more people will give. Yeah, 100%. I think yes, we have a young alumni base, absolutely, but you have to market to them to get them to care. We do not do that. We don't do that. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. We don't do a good job at that. And this is one of the things I'll tell you. So I can share with you guys what I shared with them. I share with everybody there to the extent that we got on this subject. I told them this straight up. Hey, like people don't there's a lot of us who are connected to the program, and we have our own reasons as to why we're connected to the program. But there's a lot of people who watch the program passively, but they don't have that deep connection. Even if they were alumni, they don't have that deep connection. And to me, it's like, okay, we as UTSA have to give all these people a reason to care and a reason to want to contribute. You can't just put out cookie cutter stuff and think that that's marketing and that's going to get someone to open their pocketbooks and contribute money. We all it's just a reality of the situation. We as humans in general, the vast majority of people make purchases based on emotion. If you're not doing anything to like pull emotional strings, people are not going to give their money. If you don't give a person a reason to care, people are not going to give money. You cannot use the same marketing tactics that you use with someone who is a retired person who has a lot of money and they were alumni for a school. That tactic is not going to work for the 35-year-old who graduated from UTSA, a decade plus ago, who are now maturing into their career at doing whatever they're doing. You got to market to them different. You even got to target the people who aren't making money for you right now, right? One of the things that this is what I told the Playfly guys. I told them this at the very end. I said, look, one of the things, this is not, I look at it like this, like there's different layers of what you have to do from a marketing standpoint. I'm sorry, guys. I went to school for some of this stuff. That's what my degree is in. So like I have a little bit of an understanding of some of it. But to me, it's like you got to make, like, you look at your leads in general, and you look at the people who are at UTSA right now that's filled with UTSA pride. The people who are coming to UTSA games and filling up the student section. They should be your donors 20 years, 30 years from now. You start on them now. You give them a reason to care now. And when they graduate, you make sure you alter what your strategy is to keep them coming back after they graduate and keep them caring after they graduate. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that is, even that's another opportunity. But there's so many hot leads out there, and there's so many situations right out there where there's opportunity to pull in more donors and pull in more people. But we can't use the same exact strategy for everybody. There needs to be sort of a layered approach and a different approach to every single person. And I think some of those things, we're missing the opportunity on some of those. I know I went long on that, but like that's one of the things I was sharing with the guys. I shared definitely with the guys at Playfly. Like, there's a lot of opportunity, but like, are we going to tap into it? There's so much. Dude, I love San Antonio. Like, San Antonio will always have a special place in my heart. I spent 7 years there, went to college there. My professional career started there. I had some of my most fun. My best friends have ended up coming from there. So I love San Antonio. I love going back. But yeah, man, I feel like I have a connection with some of the people there. And to me, San Antonio is just not a place that you do cookie cutter stuff. You gotta roll up your sleeves, bro, and get in it. You gotta get yourself in there, bro. You got to. All right, next question. What do you think of the running back room? Do we still have Adrian Peterson, brother? Yes, we do. On the team. I think that's not his brother. I think it's like his cousin or something. But on the team, I think he redshirted last year. Yeah, he's still on the team. I think our running back room is going to be fine. I hated losing Brandon Hyde Jr., but we got a guy from USC that was a 4-star, so I'm sure that'll be fine. We got Will Tomahawk. We got Will Tomahawk Henderson. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do. Obviously, Robert Henry's coming back. We got Bryson Donnell. We got a lot of guys, bro. I mean, I think I got a question today from my man. What's my guy's name, bro? We were in fantasy football today. I don't want to forget him too. It's my guy, Kenny or K Henny. My fault, K Henny. Yeah, like he was basically saying, yeah, he was basically saying to me like, hey, how do you feel about the running back room and like who's going to be running back 2 or 3 behind Robert Henry? I'm like, I don't know if that position is like, is it a foregone conclusion that Robert Henry is going to be the number 1 guy throughout the year? I don't think so. I think we play a lot of running backs, and whoever starts to get into a groove and whoever starts making plays, that guy will get the bulk of the carries. It might be Robert Henry Jr., it might be Robert Henry, but it could be any of those guys. So I'm excited to see what that running back room does, and I think we have a boatload of talent there. So, I will say this. I would like to see the rotation go down to about 2 guys. I don't want to see 3, 4, 5 guys getting carries. Give me 2 guys that we can rely on and we can go from there. I will say that. UTSA Shadow Wing, what is it? Let's see. He says, what is it that other schools are doing that we're missing out on? Feel like there could be something in there. I think a lot of those other schools, just have history and they have things that we don't have access to. But I also think with that history and with them being athletic programs for a long time, those other schools understand how to motivate their supporters and fan base to give. Not everybody, but some of the schools that are successful, they understand how to speak to their fan base. One of the things that was pointed out to me was Chris Del Conte. I think that's his name. He's the athletic director for the Texas Longhorns. And I don't know if you guys looked at his Twitter, but one of the things that I noticed that he does is when there are complaints about like things that you would think an athletic director wouldn't think about, he will reply to those tweets that maybe only have a couple of followers and say, we'll look into that and we'll address it. That builds a connection between him and that fan base because they know he's reliable if we have a serious problem about something. And to me, things like that, like I said, pull emotion. It pulls emotion it brings emotion out of people. Like I said, I met Traylor. I've met him before, but like a lot of people was there. I can barely remember that, but like that was years ago. But when I met him this time, the GM brought me over to him. It was just me and him, and we had a conversation. And like I said, I left that conversation, and like I said, the first thing I turned to that GM and said is, I love that guy. That to me speaks to like who he is, what he's about. And it pulled the emotion out of me to say, I love that guy. I'll give and do whatever I can to help him out. School, like some of these other schools that's been around, had an athletic program longer than us, a football program longer than us. They really understand how to get that feeling out of their fan base without someone having to go into a practice and talk to the head coach. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that UTSA is missing right now. They're trying to get it though. They're trying to be fair. But we got to make up time for that. Fast food toy box says, is the most UDFA, is this the most undrafted free agent that UTSA has had after the draft? I don't know. It's a good question because what do we got, like 5 or 6? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. TNT Sports T Sports says gotta go to D Willie's barbecue next time. Let me know, bro. Let me know. Let me know in the chat what's the best barbecue spots out in San Antonio, bro. Let me know. And then also let me know if there's any place that has better tacos or quesadillas than Ricky's Tacos. If you know, you know. ATX says, shout out to UTSA baseball team for hanging 18. Absolutely. Shout out to them guys. One thing about the UTSA baseball thing, people are asking me to do content on them. I just don't watch them enough or even understand what's going on enough to do content. And that's the reason why I don't. Maybe I will at some point, but no. Our baseball team is a real sleeper. I don't think they're sleepers. I think they're starting to make some noise, man. No, because he transferred. Oh, you talking about Brandon High? Yeah. So, it is what it is. Shout out to Brandon High. I got a little bit of insight on that situation. What I'll say is like, yeah, I just think there's a good opportunity for him over there, and probably a better opportunity there than it is at UTSA, to be honest. Shout out to him, and I think he likes that coach. And from what I'm understanding, there was no tampering involved. Straight up. That's from what I've heard, there was no tampering that had to do with that one. Mr. Meep says UTSA baseball is the best chance at NCAA tourney we'll get this season. Shout out to those guys. ATX says, you want to talk facilities? No way in heck we should be able to host baseball regional without. Yeah, our baseball. Now, that's one thing I have seen about the baseball stuff. Yeah, our facilities is not great. And I'm with you guys there. I'm going to try to run through these last ones because I only got about 7 minutes left. To be honest, he said having the baseball field behind Chap Hall is pretty cool. You can watch the games from inside the dorm rooms. Shout out to Mr. Meat. Anthony says, agreed, our baseball team is playing lights out and they will need to support. That's what I mean. People love the baseball squad, bro. And I get it's in season, though, so I get it 100%. Frank says, man, if we didn't have to donate 2 to 3K to tailgate, I'd be tailgating twice a season with the HBSs. With the HBs. What are the HBs? If we didn't have to donate 2 to 3K, we gotta donate 2 to 3K to tailgate, or is that just you? I'm lost, bro. Help me, come find me. Help me out. Help me out with this one. Is this blocking you from donating to the school? I'm sure you'll get back to me, Frank. Shout out to Frank. InsideRunnerSports.com. Shout out to you guys. Good to see you Saturday. A lot of the admin at UTSA see a lot of the discussions you generate. Keep up the steady grind. I think this is my man JJ. Shout out to JJ, man. Dude, JJ is one of the dopest guys in the game, bro. Like, nice dude. And he loves this. JJ was out there as well. And yeah, I mean, it's great that people are seeing some of the things that we're doing and some of the discussions that we generate and things like that. Like, I mean, I got a lot of good feedback about some of it. I mean, some people also shared their opinions about it too, which is cool. Like, everybody's not going to like it. But to me, like, this is how you get change. If you don't ask thought-provoking questions, then you're just talking. You're just saying words that people can't use, that people can't actually consider. So to me, my biggest goal is to be thought-provoking with everything that I come up with. And that's sort of my content strategy. Like, JJ is, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I can't report the way JJ reports. I won't even try to. I don't try to. So like from a news and reporting standpoint, like JJ got that sewed up, man. And trust me, when the season comes, like I have JJ on notifications. I advise you guys to do the same, just to make sure that I am up to speed on everything that's going on with UTSA football. But my lane is this type of thing. I like to talk about the deeper inner workings of what's going on with UTSA. I like to give my opinion on what I think should happen and what shouldn't happen. And I like to try to give my audience and our community that we've built a voice. And And I'm glad to hear that people are seeing a lot of that stuff. I got a lot. I think everybody told me that while I was at UTSA. So shout out to JJ, man. He's a legend. Mr. Meep says so many of our professors and students simply don't care. This is a good point here. I want to spend a little bit of time on this one. He says many of our professors and students simply don't care about football. Lots of them see us as a glorified liberal arts college. Bro, that's what that's what I mean by whenever I was talking to the Playfly guys. I gave him sort of an experience that I had. I'll never forget this. This was back in 2011, I want to say. I remember this because David Morgan was in there. I don't know why I remember it because he was there, but David Morgan was one of the guys that was in the class with me. It was me, him, and it was like 4 or 5 other guys. And we came to this class, and it was like early into the school year. Back in the class, like in the days where like you can still go to a class, don't like it, and cancel. So we walk into this class, and for whatever reason, like nobody, it's quiet. Everybody's just like listen to the professor. And this lady raised her hands, stands up, turns around, looks at the football team, and just says, "I hate that you guys are here. You guys have made the tuition go up." And she just went off on us like crazy, like went off on us. And it just kind of sent the message like, wow, the students here don't want us here. I mean, I think there were people telling us like, yeah, we came to the school because there was no football team, and now y'all just showed up. so, so yeah, people don't care about football, but that's what I mean. Like, bro, part of the marketing, part of everything is like you need to create the vibes, you need to create the energy. And if you got the entire campus or a large portion of the campus that does not embrace football and the athletic program, that's a problem. They are your biggest pillars to building momentum from an energy standpoint. If the college and the people around the college are embracing and are, breaking their necks to get in to watch UTSA play, it's going to become infectious, and other people around the city will probably be influenced because some of those people are locals. So like, it's not a good sign when none of the people at UTSA, none of the people at UTSA does this, like cares that much. It's crazy to me. Oh, JJ left. Okay, yeah. So this time he did the same thing, but he dropped his name. Shout out to JJ, man. I love JJ. It's my guy. Mr. Meep says that's a shame because we have something special going on here. Birds up. Shout out to you as well. Let's see. We got a couple more. I'm almost at time. TNT says, as for tacos, Rolando's and Terrans. As for chains, Taco Palenque. By the way, this is Aaron from Tacos and Touchdown. Oh, shout out to my boy Aaron. I like Aaron a lot, man. He's a good dude. Shout out to him. Shout out to Aaron for sure. Frank says, bro, you can tell me that story about the girl going off of y'all 100 times and I won't get tired. Unbelievable that y'all experienced it. I know I shared that a lot. I'm sorry. It was traumatizing, bro. It was traumatizing because I was like, bro, I thought people liked us, Shout out to Frank. That means Frank has been there for a long time if he's getting on me for saying the same thing multiple times. But yeah, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's insane. It's shout out to It's Rab, my guy. I was wondering where you were, bro. I've been waiting on you all day. He says, I remember the sorority was involved when I was there and will fill out the first couple of rows of the student section and have it reserved for the sorority. Shout out to them if they did that. Instead of showing the same 4 people, they should have been showing the last 4 years in that front row that are not students anymore. Interesting. I think I know who you're talking about, my boy. Shout out to It's Rab. It's Rab's a legend of the chat, by the way. Shout out to It's Rab. He's one of my favorite commenters on here, man, and one of my favorite people on the show. But that wraps. Okay, we got one more. Look at him, Farrah. Farrah been on the show, so I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna do this. I do want to ask why. What's the hate on Farrah? I don't like. get into a lot of the stuff. Like I see a lot of people argue all the time on Twitter, and I know she's like a big part of it. And I didn't realize any of this stuff till I had her on my show. But like, what's up with her? Like, she seems to be a divisive character. She's been nothing but cool to me, but she brings emotion out of people, is what I'll say. Anthony says, I also recall back in 2007, some students were more excited to leave for 1 year at UTSA to attend UT. Hope it's not the same regarding issue. I'm sure it is. I'm sure some of that's the same, but I think UTSA is starting to stake a claim as a team and as a program that means something. And I think we'll see less of that over the years. But I think, the more notoriety that we can get, whether that's athletic driven or not, I think is a huge, huge thing. All right. People are closed-minded, fail to look at the big picture. Yes, and I'm going to continue to try to educate people on that. I trust me, I have tough skin. The insults don't bother me from some of the folks that give them. Trust me, I don't care. It's not that I don't care, but it's like it's not going to stop anything that I'm doing. But like, yeah, huge shout out to you guys. I would say if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. I talk and I bring up a lot of interesting stuff. What I think is interesting. Let me make sure I say that. What I think is interesting each and every day. And yeah, I appreciate you guys' support. Go give me a follow, Darian at UTS at Darian_UTSA on Twitter. Make sure you guys like the video. If you were still here, I would super and really appreciate it so more people can see this. And same time next week, I will see you guys then. If I missed anything, make sure you guys just hit me up on Twitter, ask me whatever you want, and then we go from there. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.